Hey, social media writers. Well, a lot of you mentioned in your proposals that you submitted that you would like to create videos as part of your social media content. And that makes perfect sense. As we've almost everything we've read suggests, videos are one of the most engaging things that you can put on social media. The only downside of that is they can be a ton of work, way more work than posts that use just static images and caption text. That's why we spent most of the course on images and caption text because you can reliably crank that out uh, in a relatively short amount of time, where videography is a whole nother class. But there are some videos you can create that are easier, that rely on the same skills that you've used for regular posts, and those are slideshow videos, our topic for this week. Uh, yeah, it's what it sounds like. It's an animated slideshow. You can make one in PowerPoint or in Google Slides. You can export it or save it as an MP4 file, and then you can upload it into social media, or you can upload it into YouTube and then share the YouTube link on social media. You can also make these kinds of videos in Canva. If you choose Canva, I recommend that if you're a beginner, search specifically on the site for slideshow video templates so that some of the work is already done for you. Because even with Canva, it takes a lot of work to put one of these together. All right, what are slideshow videos good for? Uh, Slideshow videos are great for communicating information, so you can use them to explain your organization to people who need to understand what it does. You can use it to tell stories about the people in your organization. You can use it to tell stories about the people your organization helps. You can use it to teach a simple process or to provide really any kind of information. Most importantly, I would say you should use slideshow videos to answer questions that your audience has about something that matches your organization's expertise. Now, one of the easiest formats that you can use for a simple social media is what we call a listicle video. And listicle comes from an old blog article term. It's list plus article, listicle. Uh, you've seen them all the time. And in fact, many of the articles we've read in this class are in this format. The top 10 ways to do fill in the blank, 5 easy ways to dot, dot, dot. That sort of thing. These formats are very effective on social media, first of all, because they're easy to digest, and also because people are naturally curious about rankings and quick tips. So this week, I'm giving you the opportunity to experiment with doing a slideshow style listicle. I want you to come up with your own top three or top five or top seven, something along those lines. Uh, and we'll do this for participation credits. So you'll put a link to your finished video on the discussion board. Now, the point of this is not to create perfect videos by the end of the week, but rather to give you a chance to play with the technology a little, and then you can decide if you want to use it to create some of the content for your final project. Getting the experience with the technology is, for my purposes, more important than whether or not your video is polished by this coming Monday. Uh, and by the way, you don't have to do a video this week if you don't want to. Maybe you just don't have time, or maybe you're already more advanced at making social media videos and you don't need this practice. Why, just tonight on Wildwood's social media, Christina Munoz, who is an experienced TV reporter, did a 2-minute interview with the executive director about Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and she makes it look effortless and she cranks it out in no time at all. Uh, I'm still a writing person by trade and not a journalist, and definitely not a videographer, so I don't have her level of skill. Uh, so you don't necessarily have to do this if you don't want to. Uh, you can choose the other week 13 discussion option this week, which is to review the readings from week 11 and discuss how you will use conversation building strategies to interact with your organization's current followers and attract new followers. Interactive conversation building strategies will be especially important for those of you who are writing for an organization with few or no current followers. So you're starting them up. So whether you choose the video option or whether you choose talking about your interactive strategies, either way, the discussion this week should help you with your final project. Okay, let me conclude tonight by offering a few best practices for making slideshow videos, just in case you do decide to create a video for your discussion this week. And let me pause a moment and share my screen. Okay, so I'm going to give you 6 tips for effective slideshow videos in the form of a listicle, in the form of a slideshow. Boy, are we getting meta tonight. Okay, so tip number 1, music and voiceovers are optional. Okay, yes, it looks super cool. It's all the bells and whistles when you have the music and you can hear yourself talk. But some people hate their own voice and some people hate to see themselves on screen. And adding music is great, but if it's too loud and you can't actually hear what people are saying or the music doesn't match the presentation topic very well, it can be as much of a minus as a plus. So also keep in mind that your readers or your social media viewers, many of them are watching your videos with their sound turned off for a variety of reasons. I mean, maybe they're in public uh, and they don't want half the planet listening and they don't have their headphones with them. Maybe they're listening in their office and they don't have speakers on their computer. Or maybe they have hearing disabilities and no matter what kinds of sound equipment they have, they aren't going to be able to hear it. It is a big danger in any kind of video, not just slideshow videos, to depend entirely on the audio for the meaning. So I strongly recommend that you use text on the slides to convey your most important points. And if you do have audio narration, make sure that you're using captions so that all the users can understand. Now, the good news is for you, many of the social media platforms will automatically add captions for you because they understand how important accessibility is. But check, don't just assume, and proofread and edit them if you can because the voice recognition is getting better and better, but it's not perfect. And mistakes that it makes in the wording and in the punctuation can actually change your meaning. So do try to proofread and edit if you possibly can. Now, notice that in presenting this slide that I'm just talking you through, I've actually demonstrated some of the things. So I'm talking to you. I'm not saying every single thing that is on the slide, but the most important points that I want you to take away are that the music and voiceovers are optional. You need to use text to convey most important information and make sure and use captions. And all of that information is on the slide. Okay, tip number 2, if you're going to have text on the slide, it better be readable. So use large font sizes and appropriate color contrast. Again, that means dark text on light backgrounds, light text on dark backgrounds. Again, I'm demonstrating it for you here. Notice I've got the maroon text on the light gray. I've got the light gray on the maroon background so that everything stands out. You may need to make things a little bit bigger than you're used to making them because, again, remember, people are going to be reading on the phone, and the phone is super tiny. And if they can't read the text on the phone, it might as well not be there. Another tip for readability, use small chunks of text with plenty of space, not huge paragraphs. So you notice I've got no more than 3 sentences on this entire slide, and there's lots of space in between them so that it's easy for you to scan them. And that's very important for social media, regardless. It's a scanning medium. Tip number 3, start with a hook to capture interest. What do I mean by a hook? Start with a strong title or an eye-catching image, something that makes people curious and is going to make them listen or watch for a few seconds. People are going to make a decision within the first 3 seconds about whether they're going to watch the rest of your video. So whatever you start with needs to be one of your strongest or most curiosity-inducing points. Tip number 4, use images whenever possible. Because these are visual, there are some people who use text only, and actually, the more I see it, the less I hate it. But most of the time, slideshow videos need good visual aids like photos or charts or infographics to keep people's interest. And these days, by the way, oh, excuse me, getting a little scratchy. You can even insert video clips into your slides. Uh, I personally find it a little bit complex to work with, but I'm going to be working on that skill, so I encourage you to experiment with it. Tip number five, connect your video to your brand. So make sure and use your organization's logo, color schemes, and fonts so that you are communicating your organization's identity. Seeing that identity over and over again will build trust among your followers because it shows consistency. So you'll notice again, I am using the UA Little Rock colors here. There's the UA Little Rock logo present, not in the way, tucked away in the corner so everybody knows who these slides are affiliated with. And last but not least, keep it short. Video lengths vary by platform, but unless you're posting on YouTube, shorter is usually better. So in most cases, aim for a range of 30 seconds to 2 minutes, unless you're posting something that's long form for YouTube. Okay. Uh, that's it for this week. Next week, I'm going to be talking about scheduling posts and creating ad campaigns, and that will be the last new reading or new discussion material in this class. I'll give you the rest of the weeks in class to work on your final projects. You basically have 1 month between now and when your final projects are due, so please work on them a little bit each week so you don't get overwhelmed. The end of the semester arrives very quickly once we get back from Thanksgiving break. Okay? Email me or send me a text message if you have questions, and have a great week, everybody. See you later. Bye.